Hare Krishna. I welcome all of you to our Bhagavad Gita class. We are on chapter 15. We'll start from chapter 15 today. The objective of this class is to enable reading of the shlok, to understand the basic meaning of the shlok, and to help understand the basic philosophy of Gita. Chapter 15 is called the Yoga of the Supreme Person or Purushottam Yoga. This chapter, chapter 15, is in 5 sections. The first section is from shlok number 1 to 6, and it talks about, Krishna tells us about how can someone go from material world to spiritual world. How can we go from material world to spiritual world? From 7 to 11 is the second section, which talks about transmigration of living entities. 12 to 15, appreciating Krishna's position as our maintainer. 16 to 18, summary of the Vedas and the Vedanta. 19 and 20, knowing Krishna means knowing everything. And then we'll end this chapter by stories, glories of chapter 15 from Padpuran. So this is what we'll be covering. Now, before I start, let me summarize and let us come to the 15th chapter then. So we know that Bhagavad Gita has got 18 chapters. And this 18 chapters is divided into 3 parts. The first 6 chapter is the first part where Krishna talks about the Karma Yoga, a bit of Gyan Yoga and Dhyan Yoga. That is what he talks from first to 6 chapters. 7th to 12th chapter, he talks about Bhakti Yoga. It's dedicated to Bhakti Yoga. And then from 7th to 18th chapter, he talks about Jnana Yoga, and 18th also is a sort of summary of Bhagavad Gita. Now, we are in the last part of Bhagavad Gita, which is from 13th to 18th one, right? Now, if you remember the 13th chapter when we started, it started by Arjun asking one question to Krishna. And the question that he asked was, Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetragyameva Cha Etad Voditim Ikshami Jnanam Gecha Keshava. So he asked Krishna about 6 things. He asked, what is the meaning of Kshetra? What is Kshetragya? What is Gyan? What is Geyam? What is Prakriti? And what is Purush? He asked these 6 questions. And Krishna said, very simply, he explained the first 4 in detail in the 13th chapter, talking about what is Kshetra. This Krishna explained, Kshetra is this body. And he explained that why he is calling this body as the field, as the Kshetra or field, because this body is the source of all our activities, and based on that we get the karma. Whatever activity we do, accordingly we get the karma. So he calls kshetra or field this our body. And then kshetragya is the knower of the body, and he said that the knower of this body is 2. One is the soul inside and the supreme soul, that is super soul inside. So these are the knower of the body. That is what we learned in the Kshetra and Kshetragya, right? Then he answered about Gyan and Geya. Gyan, he said Gyan means if someone understands what is look at a body, the relation between body, soul, and super soul, that is Gyan. Because this knowledge, when someone has understood, is capable understanding that I am not this body, but I am the soul, and can understand the relation between body, soul, and super soul, then actually by understanding this knowledge, we can actually transcend this birth cycle of birth and death. And then he explained about Gayam. Gayam is what to be known. Yeah, Gayam is, and he said that the soul and super soul, that is what is to be known, and that is Gayam. Then very briefly he talked about Prakriti and Purusha, but because it is very, very important topic, what is Prakriti and what is Purusha, so chapter 14 is dedicated to Prakriti. Prakriti is material nature. And chapter 14 is what we have finished in the last class, where Prakriti he talked about material nature, and he dedicated one full chapter to Prakriti, and now chapter 15 is dedicating it to Purusham, and also explaining about how can you move from material. So there'll be few topics in that, but that is why it's such an important topic, and it's a dedicated complete chapter. Now when it comes to Prakriti, chapter 14, which is the modes of material nature. So let us now let's quickly see what he said. So Krishna said that this chapter is very, very important. This knowledge is very, very important, because by knowing this knowledge, why this knowledge is very, very important? Because the living entity is bound because of the modes of material nature. Because the modes of living entities bound in this body, right? The jiva is bound in this, encaged in this body, because of the modes of material nature. So he explained to us about that, and he also explained in the fourth shloka of Bhagavad 14th chapter. He said, sarvayoneshu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti ya tasam brahma mahat yonir aham bija pradam pita. He said that I am the father, I am the seed giving father of the entire material nature. Basically, I am responsible, I am the seed giving father of all the living entity in the womb of material nature. And he says, who are the living entities whom he is sending to this material nature, to this material world that he has created? To all those material living entity, all those jivas who wanted to become the Lord Master of themselves. They don't agree that they don't, they were not happy serving Krishna. They wanted to become independent, enjoy, and become master of their senses and enjoy. Because of those desires, they wanted to go away from the seed giving father. So he's the father. Just like we see when the kids grow up, they want to go away from home, yeah, because they don't want to get serve their parents, and they want independence. Similarly, all of us wanted independence from Krishna. We thought when we go away from Krishna, we'll be more happy. And because to satisfy our desire, what did Krishna do? He created this material world. He created this material world, and he sent all of us to this material world, right? To all the living entity, all the 84 lakh species that we have in different yonis that we have. Everyone who wanted to be away from the Krishna, based on their karma, they got those bodies and forms, and based on their desires, they were giving the form so that they can go and enjoy and become the master of themselves the way they want to live. And right, so that is what happened. And then he explained that, and how then he said that as soon as the living entity touches the material nature, comes to the material world, it gets conditioned, it gets bound by the ropes. And what are the ropes by which it gets bound? It gets bound by the rope of ignorance, rope of passion, and rope of goodness. And we also saw that goodness is the pure. What is the quality of the in the mode of goodness? It is purer than others. It's prakasham, it is illuminating, it has gone, it gives us knowledge and it is free of sins. And what do we get? How can we see the qualities in such people? Those who are in the mode of goodness, we see they are a bit detached, inclined towards spiritual knowledge, cleanliness, charitable, satisfaction. They are happy, yeah. And this happiness and knowledge that the people have in goodness is the cause of bondage. Because they are happiness, they are okay with, I'm happy, they are not trying to come out of the mode. And that's why the people in the mode of goodness remains bound, because they are not trying to transcend the modes of material nature, because above the mode of material nature is spiritual world. So you have to transcend that, right? Similarly, we saw in the mode of passion, what happens? How do we see the quality of the people who are in the mode of passion? It is higher attachment to family, people, material things. I want dil mange more, always working very hard, unlimited desires, unlimited longings. That is how we see the qualities in the people in the passion. And what did we see? How are they perceived? You can see greed. They want to accumulate more wealth, endless desires, higher sense gratification, anger, passion, restlessness, ego. And what is how are they actually bound? By working endlessly for fruitive results, for getting money so that they can enjoy more with that expectation. And ignorance, how do we see? Agyan. It is basically, ignorance is madness, laziness, excessive sleep, foolishness. This is what we saw. And how do you see the people having that characteristics? They are always distressed, always dejected. You give them some work, they become panicked, excessive criticism, keep on criticizing people, then they are more inclined to doing sinful activities, excessive anger, lust. That is how they are characterized. And how they are bound? They are bound because the agyan. We saw that, right? And after that, when Krishna explained all these things, that what are the three modes, what are the qualities, how are they perceived, and how are they born, then Arjuna asked another question to Krishna, which is in the shlok number 14 chapter, shlok number 21. What he asked, he said, okay, Krishna, tell me, oh, how will I understand that the what are the symptoms of the people who have transcended the three modes? Someone who has transcended the three modes, what are the symptoms of them? How will I know that this person or this individual has actually transcended the three modes of material nature? Then another, he asked three questions. That was the first question. What is his behavior? How does that person behaves? And then how does he, and how did actually he transcend? What is the method to transcend? So Arjuna asked these three questions. And then Krishna replied to that. He says that the first question is, by which symptoms is one known who transcend the three modes? Then he explained the symptoms to Arjun. He says, प्रकाशम च प्रवृत्तिम च मोहम एव च पांडव न द्वेष्टि संप्रवृत्तानि न निवृत्तानि कांक्षति. He says, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment and delusion when they are present, and long for them when they disappear. There are some, when attached, when people are there, it is attachment, like they're not really attached. If they get it, they are happy. If they don't get it, also it's happy. So they the external environment does not impact them. They are happy in all situation, right? That is one of the symptom of such person. And another symptoms, he said, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these ratio of material qualities. Whatever outside the material disturbances are happening, it doesn't affect them. The social, political changes that is happening, or they are more on very calm, quiet, doing their work and undisturbed by all the external material. Whether they get something to eat, or great things to eat, or simple things to, nothing matters. They are not impacted by the outside material qualities, and they are neutral. And then that's how you can see that they very well know that what is happening is because of the modes, and they're not affected. So that is the symptom of the person who has transcended the three modes. And then he answers the second question, which is, what is their behavior? And Krishna says, sam dukha sukha swasthasa, sam loshta sam kanchana, tulya priya apriyo dhiras, tulya ninda atma sanstuti. He says such people are swastha. Swastha means they are basically situated in self. Yeah. And some dukkha sukha, they are equal in happiness and distress. Some loshta sukanchana, a piece of stone and a piece of gold is equal to them. It doesn't matter whether it is someone is give them gold or a stone. It doesn't matter to them. They are above that. Tulya priya apriya, something which happens which is priya. Tulya, if someone is priya to the person or a priya, it doesn't matter. If priya things are happening or apriya things are happening, it doesn't matter. They are equal. They are dhira. They are steady. And tulya ninda atma sanstuti. Ninda means in dishonor or in honor. Everything with praise and dishonor, they are equal. And then he continues in the next sloka talking about man apamana yos tulyas tulyo mitra ripokshayo sarvarambha parityagi gunatita sauchate. He says, even in man and apman, that is honor and dishonor, they are tulya, they are same. Mitra ripu, mitra is friend, ripu is enemy. For mitra and ripu also they are same. Sarvarambha pratyagi, they do not start any new endeavor that, okay, I'm going to start this business now, or I'm going to start this new thing in my life. They are satisfied, equal, doesn't matter. Gunatita, and they are called, they are these behaviors of the person who has transcended the three modes. And then he answers the third question that Arjun had asked. The third question that Arjun has asked is, how did he transcend the three modes? What did this person do so that he could transcend the three modes? And Krishna says very, very important things is, Mam cha yo avyabhicharena. Ma means to me. Ya, ya means those who to me. Vyabhichareni bhakti yogen. By devotional service. By vyabhichareni means by focused, by like one point. Huh? Avyabhicharani. Avyabhicharani charane means avyabhicharani is basically unfailing. It is pointed devotional service. Bhakti yogain, when by bhakti, when it is being focused and they are doing the seva to me. To whom? To me, mom. He very clearly defines mom. By doing that, they are able to transcend the modes of material nature. Sa gunan samati tetan Brahma Bhuya Kalpate. He says they transcend the mode of material nature and reaches the Brahma stage. Brahma Bhuta, they becomes a Brahma Bhuta at this stage. And from there, Shuddha Bhakti starts. Now the question is, when Krishna is saying Mam, then why he is saying Brahma Bhuta is not saying they reach me? Because the question asked is that how did they transcend the three modes? So he says Brahma Bhuta is transcending the stage, but actually they reach Krishna, because in the next slok, which is the 27th slok, Krishna explains Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya avyasyasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya kantikasya cha. He creates, I am the basis of impersonal Brahma. So here he talks about the three, that he is the basis of impersonal Brahm, which is immortal and imperishable and eternal, and is a constitution. When someone reaches there, they are reaches the ultimate happiness. So this is what we had covered in the last class, and now today we go to the chapter 15, from material world to the spiritual world, the shlok number 1 to 6. And shlok number 1 to 6, we are going to learn how now till when the modes of material nature is in the material world. In the material world. Now he's talking. Now the Krishna is going to explain to us about how can we transcend or move from this material world to spiritual world, right? So let us read the first slok, 15th chapter, first slok. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha. Urdhva Moolam Adha Shakham. Ashwatham Prahur Avyayam. Chandansi yasya parnani. Yastam vedasa vedavid. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha. Urdhva Moolam Adha Shakham. Ashwatham Prahur Avyayam. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Yastam vedasa vedavid. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha. Urdhva Moolam Adha Shakham. Ashwatham Prahur Avyayam. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Yastam vedasa vedavid. So Shri Bhagwan Uvacha. Now Krishna says. So what does Krishna say? Urdhava. Urdhava means on the upside. Moolam. Moolam means root. Moolam means root. Adha means downward. Shakham means branches. Ashwatham. Ashwatham is the banyan tree. The banyan. Prahur Avyayam, which is extended. Avyayam is eternal. Chandansi. Chandansi is Vedas. Yasya Parnani. Whose Parnani is leaves. Whose leaves are Chandas. Chand is Vedas. Yes, tam, yah tam. Those tam is they. Veda. They know. Sa Vedvid. They are called the knowers of the Vedas. Yeah. So let's again read. Let's read the English translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said. It is said. It is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree. That has its roots upward. And its branches down. And whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree. Is the knower of Vedas. Okay. So here Krishna is explaining about the tree, the tree of illusion, which is the sansar tree. He's saying that in this there exists a tree, this whole world. He's comparing this material world with the tree. He says this tree is such that the roots of this tree is upside. Normally, where is the roots of the tree?
Down.
It is down. But this tree that he's explaining, he says the root of this tree is upside and the branches are down. So udhva moolam. Udhva is up. Moolam is root. The root is up. And adha means down. Shakha is branches. So this tree is such that the root is up. Right? Root is up and the branches are down. This is the banyan tree. It's a huge banyan tree with lots of leaves. All the green, this tree has lots of leaves, and the leaves of this tree is the Vedic hymns. And then those who can understand this whole tree are the knowers of Vedas. This is what Krishna explains, right? So what has anyone seen a tree like this, which is upside, the roots are up and the branches are down? Huh? Yeah, has anyone seen a tree like that where the roots are up and the branches are down? No. If you think you have seen, where?
In the Theosophical Society in Chennai.
But roots cannot be up towards the cloud. The roots of the trees, branches are down, that's fine. But the root, just imagine, it's an upward down tree. It means the root, instead of going in the ground, is going towards the cloud. Roots will not be up, right? We have not.
But I thought the banyan tree.
Yeah, banyan tree, so that the secondary roots are down, right? But imagine the root of the banyan tree is up towards the cloud. Have you seen such a tree? So this is the tree. He's explaining this material world and comparing with this tree like that. And actually, this tree is nothing but the material world. We will try to analyze that. But I will tell you how you can see this tree. All of us have actually seen this tree. You know where? If you stand near a pond or a vessel of, if you see near, so what do you see? You see a reflection of the tree. And how does a reflection is seen in the water? It is upside down, right? It is upside down. We agree? All of us have seen this tree, but where have we seen this tree? We have seen as a reflection of this tree in the pond, right? In the water, the actual tree actually appears as upside down. So what Krishna is trying to explain, that this material world is not real. It is actually the reflection of the spiritual world. It is whatever is happening here, we are trying to be master of things, but we are not the masters. It is a reflection of the real spiritual tree which is up. Then if you think about this, how did this material world was created? It was first when Garbhodakshaya Vishnu started, and when the lotus came from the navel, the first Purush that was formed was Brahma. Yeah. And if you look at when we talked about, the lotus stem that has come, we said at the end there's a lotus. And in the stem of this lotus, we have all the 14 planetary system, all the lokas. And the top is Satyalok or the Brahmalok, where there's a Kamal and Brahmaji is situated there, right? So he's the first, he created Brahma was created first, right? So on the root is nothing but is equivalent to the Brahmalok. It is Brahma, where Brahma is situated. That is the inverted root is the meaning of that. After Brahma was created, he started creating all other things, right? All other things means all other lok, which is the Swarga lok, the Mahar lok, and the Bhu lok, and then even the other hellish planets that we have, Atal, Sutal, everything that was created. That is why from top it extends downwards. From the top, it extends this tree, which is the root is up. Brahmaji is at the top. From there, it is extending downwards. And the branches are the different planetary systems. And the branches also, something is in the branches. There are lower branches and there are higher branches, right? So just imagine an inverted tree with root up, then there is a thick stump, and then there are branches. Branches also, there'll be upper part of the branches and there'll be lower part of the branches, right? So the lower part is more like hell and the other things. Then there's a middle branch, and what is happening? The living entity who has been sent to this material world are actually flocking from one branch to another branch. They're entangled in this banyan tree. They are entangled in this banyan tree. And what has Krishna also done? He has sent the leaves which are the Vedic hymns. And why are these Vedic hymns? By listening to these Vedic hymns, they can actually they can try to disentangle this. They can actually move towards spiritual. They can actually move a bit higher. But then what happens when they move higher? So like when we are in the lower human forms, and when we try to achieve when we do good things and in the mode of sattvam, and we do incline to spiritual things and learn, then what happens? We actually take birth into the next level, maybe the next level. But then again, when our pious activity are finished, then we again go down, we come to the earth planet, and there we'll have to again do the karma and acquire the right piety so that we can move up, right? So this is what is the upside down banyan tree, which is the reflection of the actual spiritual tree, which is in the spiritual world. Understood? Yeah, are we clear? Yeah. So I said, what is the process of to achieve the spiritual world? So this is a tree of illusion. Yeah. And let's go to the next. Let's go to the next shlok. 15.2. अधश्चोर्धवं प्रसितास्तस्य शाखा गुणप्रवृद्धा विषय प्रवाला अधश्च मूलान्य अनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके अधश्च चोर्धवं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखा गुणप्रवृद्धा विषय प्रवालः अधश्च मूलानि अनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके माताजी अधश्च ध्रुवं प्रसुता तस्य शाखा गुणः प्रवृद्धा विषये प्रवालाः अधश्च मूलानि अनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धिनी मनुष्यलोके. Krishna says, adhashchodhavam prasuta tasya shakha. Adha means downward, and cha is and. Urdhva means up. So down and up. Prasuta means extended. Prasuta means extended. Tasya means that, of that banyan tree. Shakha is branches. So the branches of that banyan tree is such that it moves, it goes downward also and it goes upward also, right? Guna pravidha. Guna is the modes of material nature, the three modes, which is the passion, ignorance, and goodness. Guna pravidha. It is actually fuel nourished by the guna. It is nourished by the guna. Vishay pravala. Vishay is, what is Vishay? Vishay is the sense objects. Vishay is the sense object. And what is pravala? Pravala means twigs. Pravala means twigs. So the branch also has new twigs, and which are nothing but the sense objects. Adhashcha. Adhashcha is downward. And the tip of this twig, the tip of this pravala is the twigs, and the end of the tip of this twigs are the senses, and the twigs are the sense object. Adhashcha mulani anusantatani. So the tree has, and this also, mulani means roots. So there are secondary roots. There are also secondary mulani anusantatani. So there are again the secondary roots. Adhashcha means which is going downwards. There are also secondary roots which are going downwards. And what is that roots doing? Karmanu bandhini. Karmanu by work, by fruitive work. Bandhani is getting bound, is binding manushya loke, and that secondary roots is actually binding the living entity in this lok, in the bhulok. It is binding. Okay, this is the meaning of the shlok. Let's read the English translation by Srila Prabhupada. The branches of this tree
The branches of this tree
extend downward and upward,
extend downward and upward,
nourished by the three modes of material nature.
nourished by the three modes of material nature.
The twigs are the objects of the senses.
Twigs are the objects of the senses.
This tree also has roots going down,
This tree also has roots going down.
and these are bound
These are bound
to the fruitive actions of human
to
society.
the fruitive actions of human society.
Right? So Krishna says, Adhascha urdhvam prasita tasya shakha. So this banyan tree that we have, it has got huge extending branches, which is going down as well up, right? And what is happening means when it's going down, it means it is like the bhulok and the other lok in the lower branches who are there, it is a human beings, animals, cows, and below that it is the animal kingdom, the hellish planets, where it's the animal kingdom, right? So that is there, the lower. And urdhvam, what is there? Urdhvam, you have devatas, you have the gandharvas and all those rishi muni. So those are in the higher part of the on the upper side of the branches. Those are situated, they are situated. And what is just like what is watering this banyan tree? This huge banyan tree is being watered by what? It is being watered by the modes of material nature. It is watered by the modes of material nature. So the greenery depends upon which side what modes are being fed to this particular tree. And the twigs which comes out of the branches, they are the sense objects. They are sense objects which is attracting the humans, and to entangle them. Their senses are getting attracted by the various sense objects which is available in this material world. And that is actually getting that the human beings are getting entangled in those the sense objects. And then what is happening? And then adhascha mulyana, there are extended roots, and these roots which is extended downward, secondary roots, they are the attachments, the attachments and the aversions, we get attached to, the material world that we get attached to, and the aversion, that something we don't like, something we like, something we like too much, and then we run after things. All these attachments that we have to wealth, to material happiness, all these are our, which is actually binding the human being, and by which the and this is what is binding and making the human being work harder, and finally getting more and more entangled in the various branches of this banyan tree. Clear? Yeah. So we move to the next slok, which is 3. Narupam asye tadopalabhyate.
Rupamasyev tatopalamate.
Na anto na cha na anto na chardinya na cha sampratishtha.
Nanto na chadir na cha sampratishta.
Ashwatthamenam suvirudha
Aswatthamenam suvirudha moolam.
asanga shastrendrinhena chitva.
Asanga shastrena devena sutva.
Narupamasyeha tathopalabhate.
Narupamasyev tatopalamate.
Nanto na chardinyana na cha sampratishtha.
Chadir na cha sampratishta.
Ashwatthamenam suvirudha
Aswatthamenam suvirudha.
asanga shastrena drinhena chitva.
Sankasasprena dridhena chitva.
Mataji.
Narupam asyeha tatopalapyate.
Narupamasyeha tathopalabhyate.
Nanto na chadirna sampratishta.
Nanto na chardin na cha sampatishtha.
Aswatam yenam suvirinda moolam.
Na cha sampatishtha. Ashwatthamenam svirunam moolam. Thamenam cha svirunam moolam.
Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva.
Asanga shastrena drinhena chitva. Now Krishna says, Na rupamasya asyeha tathopalabhate. He says, Rupam is the form, the real form. Rupam is the real form. Real form of what? Na means no. Na real form of yeha. Of this, iha means this. Of this banyan tree. Tathopalabhate means labhyate is to get, cannot be perceived. the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this material world. No one can perceive the real form of this tree in this material world. Why? Na anto. Na means no. Ant means there is no end. You cannot track the end of this tree. Cha na cha adi. Adi means the beginning. Neither you can know the beginning of this tree. Cha sampratishtha. Sampratishtha is the foundation of this tree. So you cannot, one cannot perceive neither the end nor the adi beginning nor the foundation of this huge banyan tree. Ashwathamena, of this Ashwatham, the Ashwatha is a banyan tree. So Virudha Moolam. So Virudha means it is strongly rooted. Moolam is the roots are, so Virudha is extremely strongly rooted. And but then what has to be done? Asanga Shastrain. Asanga is detachment. By Shastra is weapon. By the weapon of detachment. Drinhen is determination. By determination, Chitwa is cut off. Chitwa is cut off. So what is Krishna? So let us first read the English translation by Srila Prabhupada. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. Right? No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Right? So now Krishna, actually this 3 shlok that we have learned, it is 6 shlok. Krishna is, what is he trying to do? What is he saying? He is explaining how can someone move from the material world to the spiritual world. And then he explained the tree of illusion, this material world is nothing, it's not real. This material world is temporary, it is not real. It is because we wanted to come here, so he has created a temporary material world for us so that we can fulfill our desire of lording over the matters and think that we are the masters. But we are not the real masters. Till we are blind in passion and ignorance, till then we will not be able to understand that. We will not be able to understand that. So he says what we need to do, that the real form of this tree is beyond, cannot be perceived here because it is not there. It is in the spiritual world. And this tree that is there, so here it is such a huge tree that no one can perceive the beginning or the end of this tree, right? It neither the foundation. Everyone is busy in looking at their family, their enjoyment, everything. But looking at the entire, it is not possible to see. It is so vast and so huge. So, but if we want to come out of this illusion, this sansar, this material world, which is just like the illusionary tree, what we have to do? By huge determination, we have to cut. What we have to cut? We have to detach ourselves. We have to detach ourselves and cut this illusionary tree, right? And how can we do that? By detachment, right? So let us read the translation by Srila Prabhupada. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, and where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. It means, so how can we detach? How can we actually come out of it? By detachment. We have to cut that. And what is the meaning of detachment? How can we detach ourselves? It is only by doing devotional service to Krishna. What is devotional? What is the principle of devotional service? When all our senses, instead of focusing on material happiness or material activity, focuses on Krishna. So we are getting detached to the material world and getting attached to the spiritual world, right? By detachment means what? Detached, our senses has to be detached to the material thing, material worldly things. And where should we use our senses? Our senses has to get attached to the Supreme Lord. But the thing is, if we think that I will also I will also use my senses in doing devotional service or worshipping Krishna, but at the same time, I also want to go to cinema, I also want to party, I also want to go and eat in hotels, then it is not possible. So Krishna says very firmly, very firmly, we have to cut down. We have to cut down all our senses from all those material enjoyment that we talk about. Because if there's no balance that I can also do that, then you continue to get stuck in this material world. Then there's no exit. You are actually, one side you want to enjoy, second side you want to, then what is happening? You are not actually, you're not paving the path for exit from this material world, exit from the cycle of birth and death. But then what you are doing is, what we are doing, we are actually trying to balance enjoyment. So that way we cannot actually come out and reach the spiritual. He says very firmly what we have to do. We have to cut. We have to cut this tree by the weapon of detachment from all worldly pleasure and attachment of all our senses to Krishna. And that is the way we can actually get out of this material world to the spiritual. We can proceed towards the spiritual world, right? You cannot balance that, okay, I'll have fun and also, no, it doesn't work. He is very clearly saying we have to detach completely. We have to strongly cut with determination. We have to cut down this material world, right? Where we go to the next shlok. Then what do you have to do after cutting down? Tatah padam tat parimarkitvam yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyah tamev chadyam purusham prapadye yatah pravritti prasita purani tatah padam tat parimarkitvam yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuya tamev chadyam purusham prapadye yatah pravritti prasita purani. Mataji. Tatah padam tat parimargitvam yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyah tamev chadyam purusham prapadye yatah pravritti prasita purani. And then what do we have to do? First, we have to cut with determination get totally detached from this what do you call it? Cut this particular material, this tree of illusion, and then after that, padam tatam parimargitvam. It means then start searching. Parimargitvam means searching for the padam, that param thing. What we have to search for? Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuya. Wherever you go, gata means you go. Yasmin gata, where you reach, na nivartanti. Na means no, nivartanti bhuya. Bhuya is again, you will not return back. Then search for that place from where, after once you go there, from there you cannot come back on this material world. Tameva chadyam purusham prapadye. What do you have to do? Prapadye. Prapadye means surrender. Prapadye means surrender. Surrender to him. Adyam Purusham, to that original Purusha. Who is that original Purusha? It is the Krishna. Then you surrender. After this, we have to completely surrender to the Adyam Purusha, the original Purusha, which is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yatah Pravritti Prasita Purani, who is actually everything, beginning and everything is by him. So let us read the translation. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which having gone, one never returns. And there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead from whom everything began and from whom everything is extended since time immemorial. Yeah. So he says that after you have detached, you have to actually surrender. So we when we have taken this bodily form, we cannot remain, as we have also read in the earlier part of Gita, We cannot just remain detached, because if we just remain detached, what will happen? Finally, we can fall down. There's a probability of falling down is higher. So, when we get detached the material world, we have to attach ourselves to the the spiritual world, to the supreme personality of Godhead. When we attach ourselves to that supreme personality of Godhead, then what will happen? He will take care of us. Yeah. So detachment alone is not enough. That is incomplete. Getting detached, then there's a probability of going back to the material world. But when we detach our senses, we have to attach our senses to Krishna, to the supreme personality of Godhead. We have to surrender. How do we attach? By surrendering to him. Remember, when we started the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna did not spoke anything to Arjun in the first chapter. He did not advise anything. Only when in the second chapter, 7th slok, when Arjun actually surrendered himself to Krishna, then only Krishna started speaking Gita to him. Then only Krishna started telling him what, and then he started speaking the knowledge that we are now learning, right? So if we want to learn, if we want to reach Krishna, if we want to come out of this material world, we have to surrender. And surrender cannot be half surrender, half I'm surrendering and half I want to have fun. No, surrender is complete surrender. When we completely surrender, it means whatever is happening is good, is as per Krishna's mercy. Whether I am suffering, thank you, Krishna, because when I'm suffering, what is happening? Our bad karma is finishing. When he is putting, because he knows, when I completely surrender to Krishna, Krishna knows what is right and wrong and what are the karmas that I'm carrying, right? So what he will do? He will ensure, he will, we will go through all the problems. When we are going through the problems, we should be thankful to Krishna, because what is happening? It is actually reducing our all bad karmas. And when it is not because of any other karma that we suffer, we suffer only because of our karma. So we should be thankful. We should be some in dukh and sukh. So we should be equal in some. That is the quality, right? So whatever is happening, thank you, Krishna. It is because of him. Hare Krishna, it is his mercy. So just surrender and let the life be led by him. Whatever, yeah. So that is the state when we are there, then we can actually. So he says, do that. That is what he is asking us. So Arjun surrendered and he's learning Gita. He is getting the knowledge of Gita from Krishna. Now we also saw in the earlier chapter, in the 10th chapter, Krishna has told. He has told in the 10th chapter 8th slok. He has said, "Aham sarvasya prabho mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita." He has said, "Aham sarvasya prabho." Whatever exists, in this spiritual or material world, I am the source of all. I am the source of all spiritual and material world. Whatever is there, I am the source of it. Aham sarvasya prabho. Mattah sarvam pravartate. From me, everything emanates. Iti matva bhajante mam. Knowing this, when someone worships me, what happened? Mam buddha bhava samanta. Those who understand that, they actually get engaged in the devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Then he also says in the 7th slok, he says, in the 7th chapter, he says, Bahunam Janmanamante. After many, Bahunam is many births. After many Janm, after many births. Bahunam Janmanam Ante. In the end of, after many births, Jnanavan Mam Prabhadyade. What happens? Those who have acquired knowledge, what will they do? They will surrender unto me. They will Prabhadyante, surrender. Everyone cannot surrender. When someone gets this knowledge and understand this knowledge about Bhagavad Gita, understand what is actually happening in our life, and then what will happen? Bahunam Janmanamante. When someone, after many births, when they learn all these things, then what will happen? Then only that person can surrender. Jnanavan Mam Prabhadyate. The person in knowledge, Mam is to me, Prabhadyate surrenders to me. Vasudevam Sarvamiti. And then they understand that Vasudevam, Krishna is everything. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. That Krishna is everything. Sa Mahatma Sudhara. Such people are very rare. Such people are very rare. And then Krishna says also how to surrender. It's the thing he has explained in the fourth chapter, that if we want to acquire knowledge, it is not only surrender. He says, Tad vidhi paripatena, pariprashnena sevaya, upadekshanti te jnanam, jnaninas tattvadarshana. He says, what we have to do to learn this knowledge, to get this knowledge, what we have to do, we have to learn the truth, we have to approach a spiritual master, a guru who actually knows this knowledge. Even though the guru knows this knowledge, he will not share the knowledge with you. That even though the guru knows this knowledge, but just by approaching a spiritual master, the spiritual master is not going to share this knowledge with that, unless what happens, pradipatena pariprashnen, you have to inquire submissively, you have to surrender, you have to submissively, very humbly, you have to surrender yourself to the spiritual master and render service to him. You have to render service to him, and then when you are doing service to him, when the spiritual master becomes happy and convinced that you are the right person who wants to really gain knowledge, then the spiritual master, who is a self-realized soul, then can impart knowledge unto you, because he knows the truth, he sees the truth. So surrendering and then doing devotional service and service to the spiritual master can help us actually gain this knowledge, right? Now we go to the fifth shlok, where Krishna says that, okay, let's read this. Nirmana moha jit sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama द्वंद्वै वैर्य विमुक्ता सुख दुःख संगैर गच्छन्त्यमूढ़ा पदम अव्ययम तत् निर्माण मोह जित संग दोषा आध्यात्म नित्या विनिवृत्त कामाः द्वंद्वैर विमुक्ता सुख दुःख संगैर गच्छन्त्यमूढ़ा पदम अव्ययम तत् निर्माण मोह जित संग दोषा अध्यात्म नित्या विनिवृत्त कामा द्वंद्वै विमुक्ता सुख दुःख संगैर गच्छन्त्यमूढ़ा पदम अव्ययम तत्. Yeah, so Krishna says, Nirmana moha. Nir means not. Man means honor. Man is honor. Moha is illusion. When someone has no mana, not looking for honor, not looking for illusion attachment. Jit means who has won over. What has won over? Asanga dosha has won over the association of materially focused people. He's above the jit sanga dosha. So those association which actually leads to material happiness. Yeah, adhyatma nitya, and is always situated in adhyatma. Vinivritta kama, and who is actually conquered the lust also. All the kama, all the lust has been conquered. Dvandair vimukta, he is free from the dvand, duality of happiness, sadness, honor, dishonor, man, apman, all those things, all those dualities, he has already vimukta, he is already above all those things. Sukh dukkha sangai, and he is also equal, he is above the happiness and distress mode. Gacchantya amudha padam avyetat, and then he can actually surrender and unto the supreme person to attain the eternal kingdom. So let us read the English translation. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who unbewildered know how to surrender unto the supreme person, attain to the eternal kingdom. Right? Attain? Understood? So what is the surrendering process? Krishna says nirmana moha, should be free from the man and apman. It's such a difficult thing. We all feel happy when someone respects us, someone claps for us. It is always we, but someone scolds us, we feel so bad, right? So all of us are so much bound. It's so much difficult to say come out of, become equal in man and apman. If anyone dishonors us, we get angry. We cannot become okay, not a problem, and forgive the person. That okay, fine, not a problem. That person scolded, let me forget it, right? Although it was not my fault. So to being at that stage where someone is dishonoring and still you are keeping cool, keeping your mind under control, right? So someone who is at that and has totally free from the association of the material, although surrounded by all the material things, but is free. It doesn't matter. Nothing those matters. Adhyatma nitya, the basically is always associated with adhyatma, the spiritual things, and is free of material. So being at that level is extremely difficult. And when someone can be there, then and is unbelievable, then basically he can go to the eternal kingdom. And today's last slok we'll go to, which is explaining about the spiritual kingdom. When you reach the spiritual kingdom, how does it look? Natad bhasyate suryo
न तद्भास्यते सूर्यो
न shranko na pavakah
शान्तो न पावकः
yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama न तद् भास्यते सूर्यो
न तद्भास्यते सूर्यो
न शांको न पावकः
शान्तो न पावकः
यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते
यद्गत्वा
तद्धाम परमं मम
तद्धाम परमं मम
न तद् भासयते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. So Krishna says, how is the spiritual world? Na tad bhasade suryo. There is no sun there. You do the illumination. There is no sun there. Na shranka. There is no moon. You don't need the illumination is neither from sun or not from noor, na power fire. The illumination is not from any of these things. Yad gatva na. Yad gatva means when you go, gatva is to go. When you go there, na nivartante. You won't come back. Tad dham, that is my dham. Tad dham paramam mama. Mama is mine. That is my paramam dham. When someone reaches there, that person never comes back. And that particular dham is not illuminated by sun or the moon or the fire. They all dhams are self-illuminated. They are by the presence of Krishna. But the Brahma Jyoti is nothing but the effulgence from the body of Krishna. Everything is illuminated. You don't need. Where Krishna is not there, it is darkness. Imagine, like our material world, how does it get illuminated? It gets illuminated by the sun. Only one sun we have, which is luminous body. And because of that, we get the light. But just imagine, if so in reality, when the world was created, it was dark. This material world is actually dark. Only because of sun, we get the light. In the evening, when sun is not visible, it is all dark. And then we use electricity to light our world, right? But then in that spiritual world, all the planets are actually self-luminous. So you don't need sun, you don't need moon, you don't need fire. It is all self-luminous. And the presence of Krishna, we talked about Brahma Jyoti. What is Brahma Jyoti? It's basically the absolute, the illumination, the effulgence that comes because of the Krishna's presence is the Brahma Jyoti. And then we said, yeah, so that is what that is his Param Dham, that is his supreme abode. So let us read the English translation. That supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun or moon,
It's not illuminated by the sun
nor by fire or electricity.
nor by fire or
Those who reach it
it
never return to this material world. So with this, we'll finish our today's class, and we'll just chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, thanking everyone for being there, and let's also pray for everyone. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.